Hey guys, hey! So happy Thursday. My name is Olivia Denton. I am the founder of the Busy Girls Brunch and Intentional Development Co. Um, Here with another Flourish Talks. Uh, but also wifing and momming at the same time. So occasionally looking off the screen apparently today. So, hey guys, happy Thursday. It's me, Olivia, here with another Flourish Talks. I'm super excited about this one because we are talking finances. Everybody needs to talk about money. Like, we need to talk about money. I think it's a conversation we need to have, like, way more. And for whatever reason, people are always afraid to, like, really dig deep into what's happening with their finances. It's scary, but it's not going to get any less scary if we don't actually, deal with it. So let's do it. Today, I am talking to the pep talk queen herself, Rachael Hanible. She is an author. She is a financial coach, personal finance coach. And like, she will get you right. I always love seeing her statuses about how her clients are just getting rid of debt, raising their credit scores, and they're just changing their lives through really simple financial principles that they just maintain with her help. She's kind of amazing. I think we met online. So I saw her online first because a lot of people were sharing her. And I'm just like, everything she's sharing is so amazing and wonderful. And I wanted to meet her. So she came to one of the brunches last year, and she is absolutely as knowledgeable and wonderful as she is online in person. So I was super duper excited to meet her, and I'm happy that we are now networked and connected. And she is twins with one of my darling friends, Felicia Henry. So obviously she's amazing people. So I am excited for you guys to meet the lovely Rachael Hanible. Hey girl, hey.
Hey.
How are you?
Unstoppable, honey. How are you?
I'm good. I'm gonna adopt that. Unstoppable. Like, how are you unstoppable? That is everything. Oh my gosh. So I said, my piece about you and just, how amazing you just generally are and saving the world through financial excellence, right? But you, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I was like, who is she talking about? Uh, but then when you said Felicia's twin, I was like, okay, she's got to be talking about me.
The one
So
and only.
yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so glad we connected. And yeah, I am Rachael Hannibal. I am an author. I am a personal finance coach. I am the founder of Missing Peace Financial Group, teaching financial education for kids starting at the age of 3, going all the way up to our elderly brothers and sisters, aunties and uncles and grandparents. Just helping them step by step on the road to financial freedom and whatever their definition of financial freedom is. Some people, it's to get out of debt, it's to save an emergency fund, it's to send their kids to college, whatever it is your goals are. I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I've been helping people get through I probably heard every goal there is. I've helped men save for engagement rings. I've helped women. It's been fun. It's been an amazing journey, especially transitioning into teaching our kids. It's been amazing, amazing. I became completely debt free, paying off $92,000 worth of debt, including my student loans. I saved up $60,000 in cash, and I also currently have a credit score of 840 without doing any like credit repair tricks or dips. So I've been, just kind of using my testimony and sharing my story of how I came from where I came from to now to hopefully encourage and inspire others on their road to financial freedom.
Awesome. 840, girl. Okay. Amen.
Amen.
I love it. I love it. And you know what I loved about you, especially even before I met you, was like your focus on teaching children financial principles. Like, to even teach a child 3 years old, like anything about money, I think that's huge. So what even made you decide to do that?
So being a personal finance coach for adults, I'm always learning new things. I'm always studying new case studies that come out, new information. I'm always reading articles, and there was a study that came out that said that our financial habits are formed by the age of 7. So your negative triggers and then your positive connections are all formed in your single digit years. So when you, depending on what your grandma might be saying on the phone while she's cooking Sunday dinner, or depending on the arguments your parents might have had on the way home from the mall, so those kinds of things are forming these, like, just these connections or these habits that people carry throughout the rest of their lives. And I started seeing that come up in a lot of my clients, and so I had to create like a financial couch, because I'm like, okay, now I'm a life coach, now I'm a therapist, and now um and so I kind of wanted to do something about that. I was like, this is crazy, even thinking about what I might have learned about money before 7. I was like, that's scary. um and so I was like, how can I break the cycle? How can I start to put those negative connections away and just reinforce those positive connections with money? And so I started just looking for a book that was already written, because I was sure that someone else did it already. And after going to like 3 or 4 bookstores, and I didn't find anything that really taught kids about like how money works, like what it's for and what you can do with it. Right there in the parking lot of Barnes and Noble, I started writing Amber's Magical Savings Box, which is an interactive children's book on earning and saving money. And it kind of went on from there. Different ways that I'm able to teach young people just about savings, about budgeting, and now we have classes on investing. Some of my kids, they have stocks now. I mean, so it has grown into so much that I don't even want to do adults anymore. I want to do all kids.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
But it's so
Wow.
incredible. It's so incredible. I think that we often we want to save our kids from the big green monster. Like, we don't want to talk about money. We want to let them be kids, enjoy their childhood. They got all the rest of their lives to be worried about money. But we're really setting them up for failure when we do that, because that kind of rules our whole world. They kind of can't do anything without it.
Yeah.
So we want to get ahead and teach them as early as possible.
I love that so much. Like to think that you are kind of you're set, your mindset about money is set by 7 years old is pretty crazy.
It is.
That's
It
that's
is. I had to do some more digging, and there was like more studies, like just confirming, and I was like, "This is insane."
that explains a lot. Like,
But then you know what? It's like not saying something is saying something,
yeah.
right? And you don't really realize it. Like, I know I had a client, and she's grown, but she always gets like this anxiety when holiday time are coming up. And when we dug into it, it's because her mom had anxiety when Christmas was coming up, because like, how am I going to pay? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And I know she wasn't doing it intentionally, but now her daughter has kids of her own, actually had a grandkid, and wasn't able to enjoy the holiday season, because
Yeah.
her mom passed it up down to her, that anxiety around the holiday season and the money involved in that. So we got to be mindful of that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember someone said we have to change our money mindset in order to actually, be able to manage and tell our money where to go appropriately.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's heavy. I love it. So it is we're rolling very quickly into the holiday season. Like, so I mean, and it's been a really interesting year, right? So there have been a lot of people who their employment has shifted, and the world is just different, right? So what's definitely been? Oh, Felicia says hi. Hi,
Hi, twin.
Felicia. So what have you been talking with your clients about, and even in your content to prepare people for the holiday season, and just kind of how they should like be thinking about budgeting and appropriating their money?
So most of my clients, we already started putting money away for the holidays. Some of them even a few months ago. Slowly, we set up online savings accounts, and we set up automatic transfers that a certain amount of money every Friday or every 2 Fridays or once a month comes out of the checking into the online savings account. It's growing a little bit of interest, and then by the time holiday time come, the money is there. But if you have not started already, it's not too late. But the first thing that you should start with is having spending limits for each person, right? Now you might not want to share. Some people might not need to know that somebody else has a higher limit than them. But it's a way to hold yourself accountable. It's a way to get an idea of how much you need. So if you do want to start saving now, you can. If you have a limit, if you have a budget, you can build around that. But other than that, not having any type of goal, you don't really know what you're shooting for if you don't know what the target is. So the main thing you want to do when it's dealing with finances or really any other goal is to create a target. That way that you can kind of work backwards. You can kind of say, okay, well, to have $300 by December 25th, how many pay weeks do I have before then? How can I chop this down? If do I plan on doing it Black Friday? Do I plan on going out 2 weeks before? Like, what is my family tradition? What are we looking to do this year? Have those kinds of conversations. Even when we talk about our children, you want to bring your children in for the conversation, because parents, we normally just buy the gift for the godparents or the grandparents or whatever, and we put the baby's name on it and call it a day. If your child is a little bit older, you might need to teach them a way that they can participate in this. Say, listen, what would you like to get for grandmom for Christmas? We can start talking about this now. And maybe you can do some chores, some extra chores. You can do some things around the house. You can do some things, help your dad out with these things. And you can earn half the money and I'll give you the other half. I'll match you dollar for dollar. But we want to make sure that we're being realistic. We're being realistic and we're not going insane for Christmas. We don't want, especially this year. I feel like this year really, and we heard that word essential like all year, and I think this year really showed us what's essential. And so I'm hoping that our Christmas list would look a little bit different this year than it has in past years. But I know for parents, they're struggling with that guilt because our kids didn't get a prom, or our kid didn't get a graduation, or our kid didn't get that move up day, and so we end up spending more money out of guilt. And so we kind of need to let that go too. If you're a parent and you're feeling those feels, or we couldn't go on our vacation. We could, there's so many reasons, especially this year, to feel guilt. But that's just going to cause you to overspend. And so that's one of the things that we definitely need to make sure we put a cap on that too. Get that in check as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh, Felicia said it's okay to not buy gifts too.
Right. There's that. We don't write love letters anymore.
Love letters. Come on.
I'll do well with a good old love letter these years.
Merry Christmas. Here's an envelope.
Yes. So you're right.
Like
You're right.
real, like something a little bit more sentimental and homemade might be.
Yes. Especially with the kids. You
Yeah,
know, make something that's homemade. And most of the time, the godparents and the grandparents love that stuff a little bit more anyway. So
right. Macaroni necklace
macaroni necklaces,
and
the
the
little
little,
turkey plates. What's the turkey plate?
the little handprint.
Yes.
Good time. Good
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I think again, I think another thing we've learned this year is how small things go a long way,
Yeah.
um, and just really getting into what's important. And guess what? If you're on the road to financial freedom, those who really love you and care about you should understand. Okay, you can't get that this year, but maybe you can get this. And if they don't support you on the road to financial freedom, I feel like that tells you everything you need to know.
Everything. Yo,
Yep.
people are funny. People are funny. Man, that's crazy. So, like, what are some principles that people should be considering when they're like, putting their budgets together and really thinking about getting their lives?
So you really wanna think about, like, what's my ultimate goal? What's my big picture here? What do I want my net worth to be? Do I want to be worth more alive than I am dead? Do I do I really want to pay off this debt? Do I have money for emergencies? What if a shutdown happens and in another 3 months we're not able to do anything? Like, what is my ultimate goal? I named my company Missing Peace, PEACE, because I never wanted financial freedom to be like a faraway goal. Like, oh, when my kids graduate college or when I retire or whatever we create in our minds as this faraway goal that we really kind of don't think will ever happen.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how we can find peace every day. Like, how can we find little nuggets of peace every day? So what will give you peace is having a little bit more stash for emergencies, something that will give you peace. Write that down. What is that number? Give it a number. Is paying down your debt, your credit card debt, or your car loan? Write that down. This is my goal. This is what I want to do in the next 6 months. This is what I want to do in the next year. And then you want to just break it down to little bite-sized goals, what I like to call something that you can take a dose every day, something that you can do something every day that will get you towards that goal. And because we become overwhelmed, right? I didn't look at $92,000 worth of debt and was like, I'm gonna knock that out. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do this $1 at a time. I'm gonna do this one coupon at a time. I'm gonna do this one packed lunch at a time. And so when you are putting together, after you created that goal or those list of goals, figure out how you can do the small little steps from day to day. Don't overwhelm yourself. Normally, if we're overwhelmed, we're not going to do it, which is why we haven't done it, right? And so, what are those small things that add up to that big number that you're looking for? And always take the road that leads to peace. Often driving all of our money is not leading to peace, or wearing all of our money in a name brand is really not leading to peace. So you want to think about it, like, how can I be more at peace with my finances, and write that goal down.
I love that. Take the road that leads to peace.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That is beautiful. So I see your shirt. What does your shirt say? Millionaire in training?
Oh, it says millionaire in training.
I love
So
that.
all of my classes are called millionaires in training classes. All of my finance classes for kids and for adults.
Yeah.
Um, and it basically just started with me saying some years ago, like, I'm going to be a millionaire. Just talking, just kind of blabbing. And I just kind of kept saying it, I'm going to be a millionaire. And then I just started studying. What are the millionaires talking about? I'm getting read my Wall Street Journal all the time. I am getting these books and different things and reading these articles and sitting in the library until my mom ends up calling me because I'm in there too long. Like, why are you not home? And just studying how these millionaires got something out of nothing, and just applying those principles to my everyday life. And so now I call my classes millionaire and training classes because I'm now passing on all of those things that I learned from those millionaires, all those nuggets that I learned from those millionaires. And I believe that I spoke it into existence for myself. Even though it sounds crazy when I was saying it, I spoke it into existence for myself. And so I'm living proof that it's possible. And so now I encourage all those who come in my path to speak it into existence. If you're following me on Instagram, I always say "Great morning, millionaires." Great morning. And I want you to say it. I want you to repeat it. And I want you to believe it. So that's what my shirt says. It's a millionaires in training shirt.
I love it so much. I love it so much. Like you have such an interesting kind stoicism about you, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like obviously you radiate kindness. You're very kind and you are a gentle, loving person. But there's a discipline that's very much about your business, and I think that's amazing because I think when we think about millionaires, we often think about flamboyance, and we think about going out in entrepreneurship and just like all these rah 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 like things. Whereas like what I've seen is that millionaires are people who manage their money.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Manage
mean,
their money. They all have budgets. I tell every class I start off, I say, especially with the kids we play, who wants to be a millionaire? and there's always a small handful of kids who don't raise their hand, and the answer I normally get the most is that millionaires are bad people, that people who have a lot of money are just not good people. They believe that you have to be greedy to get a lot of money. They believe that you have to take from someone else to get a lot of money. They believe you have to do bad business or all types of things. And so ever since I started hearing that, it bothers me because I think that's a terrible reason for a kid not to want to be financially free or reach their goals or their dreams or whatever. I just think that's terrible for a 10-year-old to tell me that. I think it's terrible. But it's now been like my mission to make sure some good people get some good money so that we can show them that you can have money and still be kind and still be funny and still, do all these things and be cool and do those TikTok dances or whatever it is you want to do. Like, you could still be a loving person and still be financially free. And so I've been, modeling my life in that way. Because truth be told, I think a lot of adults feel the same way too. I think a lot of believers feel that like having a lot of money is just like the devil's work, and it's just like I don't know where we're getting this from, but I hope to be an example, and I hope to inspire others to really push towards that financial freedom.
I remember growing up, like, a lot of people misquote scripture. Um, and and I remember growing up hearing money is the root of all evil. And it's just like it never really made sense to me because it's like, well, if we need money to buy things and live, like that doesn't make any sense. So like I got older and like actually read the Bible for myself and it was like, oh, the love of money. So greed, like putting money over people is the
Yeah,
root of all evil.
yeah,
Like so like even to hear, you're sitting in class and a child is saying like, well, I don't want to be a millionaire because I don't want to be a bad person. Like that's such an interesting manifestation of that.
yeah, yeah. And it's so heartbreaking. I have these classes pretty often. Even now, we're doing them virtually, and it never fails. It's always at least one kid who does not put their hand up, and I have to ask because I'm curious. I'm curious. Like, where does that come from? And it just really bothers me. I mean, again, I remember being young and talking about I'm gonna be a millionaire and all this stuff, and I paid off my car early, 4 years early than the note, and I remember someone who I love dearly was like, "Oh well, it's time to buy a new car." I was like, "Why? It's nothing wrong with this. I just paid it off. Why would I buy a new car?" And it was like, "Well, yeah, just get a new one. I get a new car every 2 years, 3 years, or whatever." And I was like, well, I read somewhere that millionaires keep their cars for 10 years. And he looked at me and was like, well, who's a millionaire? Like, what you talking about millionaires for, right? Right? So I was like, well, I will be if I keep my car for 10 years and do the other things that I'm learning that millionaires do. And so here we are. I've had my car, March will make 13 years. I've been 9 years without a car note. And now I've saved enough to never have a car note again. So it's like I was right. I'm glad I didn't listen to him. But you these people feel like they're telling us the right thing, but you just, and I know this is happening to our kids. I know the same exact thing that happened to me as a 24-year-old happens to these kids all the time. They don't realize that you're shooting down their dreams, or you're creating that negative trigger, that negative connection with money. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Triggers. You don't really think about like the physiological impact of the conversations that we have about money on like our kids and how like things can honestly trigger them. Where it's like you talk about money, it's just like, oh, I don't want that, or over a certain amount, I shouldn't have that, or I need a new car now that this one's paid off. Like that never made sense to me. Like, why do I need a new car? I'd be like, it's just I don't know. Um, and the phone thing too. Like, cause there's like a new phone like literally every year.
Yes.
Like, My phone still works.
Like, and what is it doing that the last one didn't do? And how much stock could I have purchased in that company if I would have
Mhm.
just invested instead of just keep buying the phone every year? Like, how
Yeah,
much money would I have?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a real one. So you said you now have an investment class as well.
Yep. So I teach our kids, and I always say our because I don't have kids, but I feel like I'm a part of the village, and so they're ours. So yeah, I teach our kids how to look up stocks and shares and how to look up how much they're going for. And I'm like, we look up Nike together. We look up different stocks just right there live in our class, and I show them. I tell them what I own. I show them how it even works. For our younger babies, we have pizza parties, and then I use the pizza demonstrate that this slice is your Miss Rachel has her company. This pizza is her company, and she's giving away slices. So she's offering slices for $5, and so we go through this whole pizza party game of like figuring out like, and we're in a pandemic, so Miss Rachel's company, we lost a little bit of money. We're down. Are you going to trade? Are you going to hold it? Do you believe in me? Do you think I'm going to be around for another 5 years? Like what are you going to do? And so they make those decisions. They make those decisions in our class, and I teach them going forward. This is how you look it up. If you're curious about how much a stock is or share is in your favorite whatever, look it up. And they're always really shocked at how much it costs to be an owner versus how much it costs to be a consumer. And that's probably, I mean, all of my classes that I do with the young people I love. But I think between the entrepreneurship and the investing classes, those are two of like my favorite. In the entrepreneur classes, these young people just like come alive with when I tell them or show them how the things they love to do, they can really make good money doing what they love to do. You don't have to force yourself for 40 years to do something you hate doing. You can
Yeah,
literally find something that you love to do and make some really good money, and you can start now. You don't have to wait until whenever. Either you're 25 or, after college is over.
yeah.
You can start now, build that customer base now, branding now, all that stuff. And so between those two things, teach them to be owners, but then also teaching them to take their control back, take their power back of like use it, just flourish in your gift, your purpose, and just making money doing that. I think is just one of my two favorite classes that I teach for the young people.
That's fantastic. I love that so much. That's so fun. The pizza party and like even the singers off. Like that's fun.
And I was kind of nervous because I had to shift them to virtual pizza parties. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to go too well. But we had, for our Philadelphia boot camp, we had, about 60 kids on there. And I warned the parents, sent the email out, we're doing pizza. Da, 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 da. And they all had their pizza up on the Zoom screen, on the screen. And I did it again for a few other boot camps, and I was like, okay, well, this the little virtual pizza party isn't as bad, and I don't have to clean up all the mess, so this might be a little. It's still fun. It's just as fun as it is in person. So I was really excited about
I love that. That's too cute. So, purpose. You mentioned kids and figuring out how to, make money with their purpose and how it can actually be profitable for them. So, like, what's your purpose? Have you like? I know you're doing what you love to do. Have you discovered your purpose? Is this in line with it? Like, what's up?
it. I think I feel that teaching these kids about money is my purpose. I can tell that God has given me a unique gift to speak their language, to say it to them in a way that they will understand, break down concepts that the people around them probably have been telling them is just too complex. It's not for them. It's over their heads. Um, in a fun way, we have so much fun. And in a loving way, they know I care. They know that I mean what I say. They know that I'm rooting for them, um, and it sticks.
Mm,
So those are the things that that are really important, and I know it's a gift from God because I never went to like school to be a teacher. Like, you know, people have to go to full blown school for these kinds of things, of how to be relatable, of how to be
Yeah.
funny, and how to teach in a way that, you know, it will stick, and these difficult concepts, breaking it down in a way that they will understand it. And it literally just flows out of me, and I know that this is what God wants me to do. And the fact that they remember, the fact that I'm constantly getting messages from parents, and my daughter just, you know, did her lemonade stand and she's buying that Disney stock. My son is doing this. And it's just, it's incredible. Um, I know that, you know, I believe your purpose is the thing that gives you energy and not the thing that drains you. And so many of us do things and we feel so drained afterwards. We go to our 9 to 5, we feel so drained afterwards. We do all kinds of things. But I get feel like no other when I am talking to a young person about financial freedom. When I see that bulb goes off in their head that I can be a millionaire. Like, wow, this is really a thing. And it's huge to be able to speak their language. My prayer has always been that God would take like the sweet and the sour parts of my journey and just mix it all up in what I like to call soul food. Like, just mix it up in a big old gumbo, and that I will be able to serve the community. And these classes for these kids is that. Um, I know what to teach them because I know what I didn't learn. And I know what I was upset about not learning in school about money. And so I know exactly what to teach them. But I'm also from a low income neighborhood, and there's a different kind of language that they talk. And I know how to speak their language in a way that they feel comfortable. They're open, they're honest, but that they feel like she relates to me. If she can do it, so can I. And so I think that's very important when you're teaching such a subject that literally dictates how their future will go. You know, we have some incredibly talented people who have $1 billion businesses and ideas in their minds, but it never goes anywhere.
Yeah.
And so these principles, and then we also have people who make a lot of money but don't have anything to show for it. So there's that part. You know, there's both sides to that. And so this is it, man. This is it, Olivia. I'm telling you. That's why I'm like, I'm not even worried about you adults anymore. This is it. I can sit with kids all day, and just sit on the mat and talk about money.
Yeah. I love it. Removing the fear from talking about money, like at such a young age, is so beautiful. So
And
beautiful.
and I also think, like, you know your purpose when it's something that you would do for free. I was doing it for free for so long that, like, and I give it the same energy, the same love, the same. I still get all dressed up. I'm still getting all dressed up and bringing the pizza if I was paying for it myself, just all kinds of things. So I was like, you know, I'm really happy about this, even though I'm not getting paid for it. I'm losing money. I'm willing to lose money to do this. So, yeah,
Yeah.
this is a gift from God.
Trust, like I get that. I get that completely. Like that's amazing. Um, so like what's your next big goal?
My next big goal. My next big goal, um, to do more schools, to be in more schools. Um, I've been in over 30 plus schools in our area so far, just single handedly, just me, just traveling with my suitcase and my laptop, and teaching my millionaires and training classes for our babies. And so Amber's Magical Savings Box is already an Amazon bestseller and in Walmart and Target. But I would love for more parents to you know, sow the seed, or even for the holiday season, you know, give this gift to, you know, a kid in their neighborhood, or you know, someone that they feel like, you know, this is something that they're going to need. Because guess what, we got to prepare them for the next pandemic, we got to prepare them for the next recession. And so um, I'm hoping to build more partnerships with churches and youth groups and nonprofits and again schools, to be able to really expand the millionaires in training classes specifically for kids, in 2021. I mean, budgeting, investing, entrepreneurship, just talking about like savings. Why is that important? We talk about credit. We really dig into credit scores, why it's important, loans, all the student loans. We talk about everything. And so I'm looking to continue to connect and continue to do that as much as possible. I want to help as many kids as possible.
I love it so much. Oh my gosh. I always love seeing like you going to different bookstores, especially so now that I know your Barnes and Noble story, like every time you go to a Barnes and Noble just feels like even more special to me.
Can I tell you? Can I make it specialer? I just made that
Please,
up.
please.
So Plymouth Meeting, in Pennsylvania is the bookstore that I wrote it outside of. It's February and it's cold and there's an envelope with a piece of paper, scrap paper in my car, and I start scribbling Amber's Magical Savings Box. And there was a combination of things going on in my mind. I'm in the children's section and I see kids running and I'm missing my niece Amber, who passed away at the age of 3. And so I'm like, I'm in this kids section because I'm looking for kids books about money, but I'm it's like a mix of emotions. I'm upset that there's not books there, and then I'm like, oh, I'm missing Amber. There's a little girl running around here. She's chocolate little girl. I'm like, oh, Amber. And so it's cold. It's February, and I'm writing, and 3 months later, it's on the bestsellers list. And fast forward almost a year later, I did a book signing at that particular location. I was asked by the manager to come into that particular location and do a book signing, but they didn't know the story.
Yeah.
Completely sold out an hour early. We had to shut it down. We had to leave. Did a book signing, did a full reading, and I was able to go back inside and speak those words out loud, like do a full reading. It was the first store to ask me to do a full reading without even knowing the connection to the book that they had. Completely, that was my first sold out location, completely sold out. And it went on to sell out a few more locations after that. But I was just like, oh, it's where it all started, so.
Love it. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
It
Just
felt good. It felt good.
yeah. What?
Felt good. That whole tour was incredible. That whole Barnes and Noble book tour was incredible. I mean, you pull up and there's pictures in the windows of people, and you see a brown face, and there's only one brown face.
Yeah.
And your mentees are like, "Hey, Miss Rachel, that's you." They pick out your one brown face in the window of all the, and so for them, I do that, keep doing it over and over again, just for kids to be able to look up and see themselves with someone that looks like them.
I love that. In college, I used to do. I worked at a bookstore. I worked with Borders, and I used to do all the children's programming at my store. And the readings were such special times. So to be able to like to be there and connect with the people who you're going to be affecting, that must be like amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then the book is interactive, so I have to stop and ask money questions in the middle of the book, and it's always funny the responses some of the kids give. There's always like a little 6-year-old that yells out, "Hey, what about taxes?" I'm like, nobody's talking about taxes.
Excuse
but
me.
but we always have like the kids in the front and then the parents are in the back, and they're like watching the parents' faces as the kids respond. Like, wait, how does he know about tax? What does he know about taxes?
Hilarious.
So yeah, it's been great. It's fun.
That kid is fiscally responsible.
That literally happened. Like the kid yelled out, "What about taxes?" And the mom's face, like, "What? Did my son? Was that my son?"
That's hilarious. See, they're listening. They
Yes.
are listening. Wow. What about taxes? You
Yeah.
know, I can't tell you, but it's not going to be $750 at the end of the year.
Like, we want to make sure we're doing this math correctly. Is it taxes for
Right?
the boy or what? So.
Like, what are we doing here? I love it so much. So again, we've been in a pandemic. It's been the craziest time ever. Like, what's been different for you? Has anything slowed down for you? Has anything driven you forward? Like, what's your experience been, and how have you been caring for yourself?
As a finance coach, my business has first it started doubling and then it started tripling. I was like, okay, like my people were. I'm so glad that people trust me with in those vulnerable moments when things were shutting down, furloughs were happening, layoffs were happening, unemployment was like a month behind, and all those things. And so, um, I'm so glad that for a lot of people, they knew where to find someone that would not judge, but that would help them, that would give them the valuable information that they need to get past this. And so I've been like going crazy, but in a great way. In a great way. Um, all of my clients are doing well. Some of them are still, not back to working yet, but because we created emergency funds, they're great. And so that's been like the thing, like just budgets, switching to emergency budgets for all of my clients. And so I'm really excited because I feel like we've made some permanent changes. I feel like this was an eye-opening situation for so many people. And I feel like the changes that we made about what's essential is something that I don't think we're going to be able to go back to the way we were handling things. And so those are the things I even still encourage other people as places start opening up, malls are starting to open up this place. Keep those principles and those practices in mind, because guess what? You didn't die when it was 4 months of you not being able to go to your favorite restaurant. You'll be all right. When you had to make your own Starbucks coffee at home, you survived. So keep that in mind. We go forward that you will survive. So yeah, I have been pushing to make sure I'm in bed by 10 o'clock. That's self care. But definitely, yeah, just taking care of myself. But because I always want to be 100% for our young people and for our adults. That's another thing. The virtual classes for the young people during this time have been incredible. I did a finance boot camp for kids, specifically just for the kids in Chicago, and we had almost 170 kids registered for that, and it was incredible, day for day by day by day. It was just great. And so I'm looking to continue to do those things. Continue to do everything I do for adults for the end of this year, just until the end of this year, and push forward to doing everything and expand everything that I'm doing for the kids. So yeah, it's been great. It's been an amazing journey because it's rare in the line of what I do that I get to hear the testimony. Sometimes I don't really, because if you teach a class and there's 50 people in there and you give them principles, sometimes you never see them again. I don't know if they reach their goals or not. And so I think one of the main things I was able to experience during this time is people coming back to me like, Coach, remember you put that in your tips? It helped me when everything shut down. I remember you did that. It told me this. I remember it helped me. You told me don't refinance my student loans. Glad I listened to you, because now they're all federal. Now I don't have to pay. Like, so it was like pouring into me as I pour back out. It was great. It was great.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. So like what are some tips that you think that everybody should know?
Tips:
Yeah.
budget.
Girl.
Some people feel like, oh, I don't make enough to budget. That's more reason to budget. Some people feel like they make too much and don't need a budget. You need a budget. Yeah, it's the word of the day. It's the word of the year, actually. Budget. Having an essential budget. Being too.
Here's that word again.
There's that word. But yeah, like, definitely you define financial freedom for you. Don't let Instagram tell you what financial freedom should look like, should be like. Don't let your friends or whoever, your favorite rapper, I don't know, tell you what financial freedom should look like or should be like. You have to define it for yourself. It can be something just as simple as, I just want to make sure my face doesn't appear on a GoFundMe account if I gotta get out of here. And that's enough for me. I tell some of my clients that is enough for me. If that is your goal, I can make sure you get there. um, and if you have other goals, we can get you there too. But be clear, be clear about what financial freedom looks like. Create that. Like, give it a put a picture to it. Save it as your screensaver on your phone or your laptop or whatever. Give it color, make it bright, make it beautiful. I don't care what it is, but you want to make sure that you know what that is, and get you an accountability partner. Um, Whoever, maybe it's your parent, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your best friend, or maybe it's your business partner. Get you that. Might have an accountability partner changed my life,
Yeah.
in everything, in every area. So get you an accountability partner. Tell them, like, I want to save this much this month. And can you hold me accountable to that? I don't want to keep eating out every day. Can you hold me accountable to that? What can I do? Um, Essentially, if you save your money is going to save you. And discipline is never going to be as painful as regret. So if I could leave one thing with anyone who watches this, I know discipline feels difficult. Um, that's really just keeping the promises you made to yourself. But I know it feels difficult creating a new norm, and but it's never going to be as painful or as difficult as dealing with the regret of not doing better, of having that moment, getting that phone call, and you're not able to help. You're not able to do anything, or getting another shutdown, and you're not able to provide or pay your bills. That level of regret is the opposite of peace of we've been talking about. you know.
Right. It's like I
So
want shalom.
yeah, so take the path that leads to peace, and then make a step every day. If you make one step every day, you'll be fine. You'll get there.
Awesome. Awesome. And you know what? One thing that I was thinking about you as well is that you have a 9 to 5.
Yeah, I do.
You have a 9 to 5, and I love that because a lot of people will come to me like, "Oh my gosh, I want to start a business and quit my job and all these things," and I'm like, "Okay, keep your job though, and like build the business." So I know what I say to them, obviously, where it's just like, seriously, keep your job because your job is your first investor in your business. But how do you explain it to people? Like, all right,
Slow down. Pump your brakes.
slow down.
Well, you know what? One thing I start off by saying, don't let anybody who's not gonna pay your bills tell you to quit your job. Let's start there. Because that's like people saying, Rachel, you should go ahead and have kids. Are you going to help me raise these kids? Why don't you start giving me money now? And then now. But yeah, no, like, people have been telling me to quit my job for forever. I mean, I have an Amazon bestseller. Oh my God, I was on the Breakfast Club talking about my book, and oh, quit your job. I can't count how many. Someone just told me last week I should quit my job. Um, right. So I love being, and I teach our kids the 2 E words: employee, entrepreneur. But I also tell them that there are no limits, that you can do both. There doesn't have to be either or. And I love being an example of those who can do both successfully. I'm not sure who started this narrative that if you have a 9 to 5, you're not serious about your business or whatever. Listen, both are flourishing for me. I've been working for my company for 13 years. Come next month, I've been successfully running my business for 6 years. Everything is great over here. I just got a new position. At my company. My side business has been booming through. You can do both. So don't, again, I kind of mentioned this earlier, like, don't let all that social media stuff fool you. You got to do this, you got to do that. The whole point of money is security and peace. And if right now you're getting security and peace through having a steady income at a job, or having this health insurance policy because your kids, or whatever, or you have whatever it is, being able to put that money into that 401k because I'm maxing this out and I'm getting a match, and they giving out stocks for
Girl,
the 401k, you best believe I'm staying right there. So,
All of it.
you know, if
Benefit.
you want to get your teeth fixed, you want to do this, you want to get, I'm getting all the glasses I want, I'm getting whatever. Um, because if you, again, you want to think about long-term peace, long-term, you know, you don't want to be stressing out. If you're losing sleep, if you're losing, you're making yourself sick. That's the opposite of wealthy. That's the opposite of wealth. Because you're going to end up having to pay all this money out for surgeries and for this and for medications because you done made yourself sick because now you're stressing about how you're going to pay your mortgage because you done quit your job. You might not want to do that. You might not want to do that. And so I tell people if you can do both, and in most cases you can, we just don't know how. We're just bad with time management, and we're just bad with priorities. But if you get up those two things in line, most cases you actually can do both. And so if you can do both, absolutely do both. Do both for as long as you can, until you can't do it anymore. And so I say use wisdom, but don't let nobody ain't paying your bills tell you to quit your job.
Right.
Do it. Don't you do it? Listen, I'm not stressed out. Listen, I still go to sleep by 10. I'm still sleep by 10.
Yep.
My skin's still glowing. I still,
Lovely, by
I
the way.
still, yeah, I still have conversations with my friends. I still hang out with my mom. I still do everything. No one's like, I have a very healthy balance, but there's also a lot of things that I don't do. I really don't watch TV. I really don't. I'm not, I don't drink, I don't smoke, so I don't do those kinds of things. So a lot of the stuff that people spend a whole lot of money and time and energy on, I'm able to completely focus and get things done that needs to get done. And so, think about that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Bed by 10, man. Listen, that is a time management like feat for some people. I'm getting better at it actually. So like, what is your time management thing? How do you prioritize and like decide on your no's? Because I'm big on the word no.
I've
Because my thing
noticed.
is, if you're gonna say yes to something, that means you're gonna say no to a series
Yep,
of other things.
yep,
So
yep, yep.
like, how does your time management kind of work for you?
So I'm in bed by 10 because I'm up by 5:30. I'm up at 5:30. I am meditating, I'm reading, I'm praying. Um, and that kind of just sets the tone for the rest of my day. My twin and I just did a live last week about the importance of peace and how peace allows you to focus and not be easily distracted, and you can get more done in small amount of time. And so I start with peace. I start all my day off with peace, and that allows me to be way more productive. I'm able to get so much more done in 1 hour when I'm clear. My heart is clear. My mind is clear. My spirit is clear. But yeah, I'm saying no. People who know me know. Do not call me after 10. Like that, you just gonna have to wait. Like you just gonna have to wait. My phone goes on do not disturb. I don't care who tagged me and what on Facebook at 11 o'clock. I don't care. It will be seen in the morning after prayer and after I read my scriptures. But yeah, for the most days, I have a list of things that I specifically have to get done. These are the things that have to get done. Now, on that list, there are different items that have a star next to it that I won't die if it doesn't get done today. So, if my mom calls me and says, "Do you want to go to dinner?" and I say, "You know what, Mom? I do." I can do that in these things that have a star next to it. I won't be stressing about, oh my God, I didn't do it. I got to be up to midnight doing it. Nah, it'll get done tomorrow. And so, yeah, just making sure I'm crossing things off the list, trying to keep down my time on social media. That's probably my only thing I shouldn't spend as much time on. But I'm also realistic too. Like, I'm fair with myself. Like, I'm not going to expect myself to do 30 things in 30 minutes. Well, it's not realistic. And I'm not going to be clear. I'm not going to be at peace trying to do that. I'm not. Let's cut it down to maybe 20. Maybe 15, you know. But yeah, you know, and get straight to it. But I'm single handedly running my business myself. Like there's literally no team. um,
That's a good
hey,
vibe right
it gets
there.
done. Everybody's satisfied.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think peace is number one because I don't think that we realize how much time we waste searching for peace
Mm.
or trying to escape the opposite. We're trying to escape the trauma, the toxic, like whatever it is we might be experiencing. So that's why we spend 3 hours watching TV, you know, at night. That's why we're going to the bars. That's why we're going to these places. That's why we're on the phone talking bad about another person because we're making ourselves feel better. If you just get to peace, you won't need to waste time doing those things. And then you're able to be way more productive in anything
Yeah.
that you want to do.
I love that. So I love that. So my favorite word, like in life, is shalom, and
Mm.
like it means so much to me. Just because it means everything happening for its purpose in its time, you know, in its season. Just like the cogs are fitting, they're well oiled, and they're moving together. You know, it's just different when things are moving together.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. There's a big difference. You'll see a big difference.
Rachel, this is good.
I'm, I'm glad it's good.
Oh my gosh. No, but seriously, yo, thank you so much. Where can we find you if people are like, oh my gosh, she needs to be my finance coach or teach my children? Um, where can we find you?
If you're looking for me, you can find me on Facebook. It's just Rachael Hanible, RACHAELHANIBLE. um, and that's also my website. So it's rachelhannibal.com. You can find all the information for you where you can request a one-on-one session for you if you're an adult. I also now do personalized one-on-one sessions for kids, teaching them finance principles, and that's been very fun. But also, if you want to book me for, you want to have a virtual finance party with your family, if you want to have it with your youth group or your church or whatever, we all get on a call and we have finance parties and it's like dinner. We bring our dinner together and we talk about money for an hour and it's so much fun. I love doing it with families because they hold each other accountable and so it's always awesome. Um, and I'm on Instagram. You can follow me at pep talks underscore on Instagram. And on my Facebook, we have Finance Friday parties. Every Friday, I give out 10 free finance tips, just small nuggets, small things that you can do every day to get you one step closer towards financial freedom. And so come hang out with us on our finance party tomorrow and every Friday after that.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, for dropping all the gems that were raining from the sky, for telling us about your millionaires in training and just like everything you're doing. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
And Amber's Magical Savings Box. You can get it anywhere books are sold, literally anywhere books are sold. Amazon, Walmart, Target, Barnes and Noble. This for ages 3 to 10, and it's interactive, so it's going to ask them some questions about their financial dreams and goals, and it becomes like a money journal for them they can hold on to for a while. So make sure you pick it up, especially for a kid on your Christmas list.
I got it for my niece last year. I mean, she was one. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. She'll get there. Thank you so much for everything. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you, and we're gonna do more things together. This was
Yes.
fun. I love this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, okay, so keep in touch with Rachel Hannibal. I'm going to put her details in the comment section. She is absolutely amazing, fantastic, a wonderful human being, and she knows her stuff. As you can see, like, get like her. Like, seriously, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're just like a person trying to just be financially free, it is really important to have someone teach you the things that you need to know about your finances if you didn't learn it in school. A lot of us didn't learn it in school. I do have some finance knowledge from high school, but there's always more that you need to know. So getting a finance coach like her, fantastic. So, a couple notes before I disappear and start thinking about dinner for the fam. Oh, with the fam. I'm not cooking with the fam. So if you have a business and you're trying to understand your business model and really how it makes money at the end of the day, I have a course that I made for us called How Does It Make Money? I will put it in the comment section. It is only $37 right now. And I think you should get it. Like, if it is something you're thinking about, if you have a business at all, it helps to understand who your audience is, what your cash flow needs to look like, and all the resources and activities you need to be putting together in order to operate a good and amazing business and really, make a difference in the world, right? Also, so these Flourish Talks will be up on YouTube every Saturday after I have them. They will be on YouTube, and eventually there will be more amazing business content going up there as well. As you can see behind me, I am working on this background with some things that I actually love, which are post-its. And these are actually topics that I'm talking about on the channel. So that's where we are so far, but there are going to be many, many more cascading behind me. And if you want to hear about these business topics and life topics and just pretty much how to build frameworks and offerings that people actually want to purchase and create movements and brands that people want to stick with, you're going to want to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I will also put that into the comment section. Thank you once again for being here. Flourish Talks it's just a gift from me, I'm telling you. And I hope it's a gift for you as well. Guys, I will see you next week. I have a mind setting coach. That one's going to be pretty good. Have an amazing weekend. All right.